Hello there, people of the internet. Kevin is very loud today. You guys are going to hear him. Kevin's my peacock. I got 4 of them. They're all named Kevin. So, I was recently on the internet the other day. I was doing some browsing and whatnot, and one of the things I've been looking for was a sporterized 8mm Mauser rifle. I do have one sporterized 8mm Mauser rifle. It is a World War II German production. And, well, for reasons, I don't want to use that one for what I'm intending to use this one for. This one right here is a sporterized Turkish Mauser, and the reason why I wanted to go with a sporterized Mauser is, one, they're a lot cheaper than their still intact military counterparts when you find them, and two, I have, well, some 8mm Mauser hunting ammunition. And I use this hunting ammunition out of my Kar 98. I've done that a couple of times whenever I've gone hunting. But if it is raining and just not a good weather day, and it's a day where I might get my rifle wet and I might, be in some thick brush or something like that, typically I'll bring my Kar 98 out with me if I take it hunting, and I'll be stationary hunting or something like that. But if I'm walking through the brush and whatnot, then it's going to get scratched up and dinged up, and I don't want to do that to my Kar 98. It's a gorgeous example of a Kar 98, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get me a cheapo sporter. There's Kevin, just screaming nonstop. I was like, I'm just going to get me a cheapo sporter, an 8mm Mauser, so I can go ahead and have myself an 8mm Mauser rifle to be able to use out here in the brush. So I did exactly that. And I went to specific, a couple of specific retailers, and I just hit, price plus shipping lowest, and I was like, all right, there's one right there, and now I have a Turkish Mauser. This is a 98 action, so nothing special about it. 1942 production. Yeah, I mean, this is as bare bones of a Turkish Mauser as you can possibly get. Couple of things about it before we go ahead and dive right into it. I wanted a rifle that still had the iron sights on it. I'm definitely an iron sight kind of guy. That is my preference as opposed to a scope. I don't really have any logical reasoning behind that other than the fact that I like iron sights. I'm actually a much better shot with a scope simply because I cannot see at very far distances. Anything past 100 yards or so, well, the odds of me hitting that with iron sights are pretty minimalistic. However, in the location that I'm at, with the types of things that I see, there's something crawling around on my tree here, and I don't like it. With the distances I'm at, with the type of brush and whatnot that I see, the odds of me shooting past 50 yards are pretty minimal, so iron sights are definitely a very good way to go. So whenever I was looking, I actually skipped over the cheapest one I could find, and I got the cheapest one I could find that still retained iron sights. Second, if I do feel like mounting a scope mount onto this thing, I can. The receiver's been drilled and tapped, and they weren't done by Bubba in his basement with, nothing but a drill and his eye. These right here are very carefully and delicately measured, and I can absolutely mount a scope to this thing. As a matter of fact, there used to be a scope mounted to this thing, because you can see the rectangular marks on the wear of the finish, where the scope mount just kind of wore onto this thing. I don't think I'm going to put a scope on this thing, but it's good to know that I have that option. We have ourselves a bent bolt handle on this thing that has been ground down and taken care of by Bubba. For the most part, the actual sporterization of this rifle was extremely well done. Like, this feels very professionally done. And then we have the bolt handle right here, and the bolt handle was very crudely just kind of ground down with either a Dremel or a grind wheel or something like that. It is not polished. It is definitely very messed up. I still have enough meat on this bolt to where I don't think that the bolt handle is going to break off, even if I have to beat this thing around. The action itself, very pleased with the action. I'm very pleased with this stock. This is an incredibly well done sporterized stock. It is very smooth. Whoever took the time to sand this thing out, they did a fantastic job. That being said, there is one little point of contention on this rifle, right here on the grip, where you actually grip your hand whenever you hold the rifle. Now, the stock has been broken. There's Kevin screaming again. But the stock has been broken on both sides of the stock right here, so we have ourselves a nice large crack going down both sides of our grip right here, and it's definitely definitely there and definitely noticeable. That being said, I think somebody's already tried to fix it, because I have tried to get into this thing, but much like Megan Fox, it's not spreading open for me. So I can't get into there to putting any kind of like glue or anything like that, so that tells me that it has already been, somebody has already thrown some glue in there to stop that from spreading apart, because it's a sizable crack. I should be able to get in there. So just in case that crack does open up upon firing, whenever I test fire this thing, I have not test fired it yet, I'm going to be wearing myself a glove, just, in case that decides to split open and whatnot, my hand is protected and I don't go home with a bunch of splinters. I'm also going to be shooting some Turkish 8mm Mauser ammunition. I went ahead and I checked this stuff. People are always telling me, check your Turkish ammo because there's a lot of it that's messed up. Well, I went ahead and I checked the stuff. This stuff appears to be a-okay. So this right here is what we're going to be running. And if there is anything that is going to open up the crack in that stock, it will be this Turkish Mauser ammunition. So I function tested this thing. I took apart the bolt. I checked out the actual bolt itself and the firing pin and everything like that, and it seems like this thing is good to go, question mark. I don't see why it wouldn't be. It did pass the bore test. We got plenty of meat at the end of the bore, so we should be accurate. I'm going to go ahead and load up a couple of rounds here, and I'm just going to send a round into the dirt without, aiming the rifle, which is what I do whenever I first get a Mauser rifle. Man, this Turkish stripper clip sucks though. Okay, let me try turning this stripper clip around. Maybe the other side will give us more. Alright, this Turkish stripper clip is absolutely awful, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull the rounds off of this thing and single load these bastards. But I'm going to send one round into the dirt just to make sure that the rifle doesn't have headspace issues or anything like that. So if the rifle does decide to detonate, my face is going to be away from this thing. Bolt feels nice and locked up. I got a couple of Mausers where the bolt is, it kind of wiggles around whenever it is locked up. So I'm just going to send around here into the dirt and keep my face away from this thing just in case it does decide to go boom. Well, she fired, and that looked fine. Go ahead and cycle this out, have a look at our brass case. Well, no signs of pressure, no cracks or anything, surprising for Turkish brass. All right, she went boom. Let's go ahead and see if we can hit our steel. I am going to say this right here, this rubber butt pad I have on this thing, the stock was actually cut down. I'm assuming they had some kind of spacer on this rifle. This did not come with a spacer, so I actually took the spacer off of my other sporterized 8mm Mauser rifle. I got a more appropriate one that I'm going to actually fit to this rifle, but for now this is what I have. That's why it looks as crude as it does. So now let's go ahead and send a round downrange at our steel target, see if we hit it. Well, we hit our target. Fantastic. And that rubber butt pad actually made a world of difference. I was expecting a lot of recoil from this thing into my shoulder, but that was not that bad. Like, I think my full-sized Turkish Mauser with the metal butt plate actually has worse recoil than this thing. I actually kind of like this thing. Alright, I think I made a good purchase. Alright, now that I've ran through a couple of rounds, let me see if the stock is spreading any. Nope, we got no movement on that stock. Okay, cool. Let me take the glove off. I'm going to shoot it without the glove and see if I can even feel those cracks, because I can't feel them. I mean, I can see them, but I can't feel them. So that also is a clear indication of it already having been repaired. All right, there we go. Yeah, I didn't feel that at all. And they don't appear to be spreading, so I'm going to just assume that they've been repaired, but if they get worse and I'm able to get in there, then I'll go ahead and fasten them down and glue them down. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Do you guys ever do anything like this? You're like, I'm a military surplus collector, and I enjoy collecting my my actual in-spec military style Mauser rifles, but I wanted to get myself a sporter specifically for practicality purposes, because I want an 8mm Mauser to go out hunting with. I probably should have gotten one that had a bit of a shorter barrel, because this is a full-length barrel Mauser, but to be honest, I kind of like that too. I do like the fact that this already came with sling swivel installation points, so I don't have to worry about installing my own sling swivels. I can just literally throw a sling right onto this thing, which I'm probably going to do. The buttstock extension that I have coming for this thing, it's one of those leather ones that wraps around your stock, so that ought to be pretty nice. I also have some shell holders that I'm going to have held onto the stock as well, and I feel like this is going to make a really fun little hunting rifle. That being said, before I go rambling on too much again, that's nice and warm. It's a little chilly out here this morning. You guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check that out. You guys go out, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you all in the next episode.